Us is having a collective mental breakdown.
I just want to be clear. This is the party that says that, they care so much about life until life actually shows up at their front door. And this is also the party that supposedly is about Christianity. And I just imagine what they would have done to a little baby Jesus, but that's a whole other issue. If that's the case, let's talk about the white supremacists and how many of them need to be kicked out of this country, because I can guarantee you, I can track down more crimes that they've committed, because overall it have a lower crime committal rate than white supremacists, but we don't want to talk about that in this country.
All right, everyone, brace yourselves. We're diving into a political storm that's been dominating news cycles and lighting up social media. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett is once again at the center of the controversy. Her pointed comments about American crime and campaign fundraising, especially remarks aimed at Republicans like Lee Zeldin, have stirred strong reactions across the political spectrum. And let's be clear, this isn't just idle chatter. Some observers act as if they're above the fray, twisting facts or turning a blind eye to harsh realities. Meanwhile, criticism of Crockett's approach seems to be growing by the hour. For those following political drama closely, subscribing ensures you won't miss updates, and it keeps me motivated to deliver the latest insights. So let's cut to the chase. The newest controversy surrounding Jasmine Crockett, it began with her accusing Republican Lee Zeldin of using similar tactics to fund his campaign. Critics claim there's more beneath the surface than meets the eye, suggesting that Zeldin's financial backing was somehow extraordinary. This wasn't a minor annoyance. It sparked outrage and unleashed.
She is so... The fact she represents the Democratic Party is so embarrassing for them. Her facts aren't even correct. White supremacy accounts for about less than 0.08% of crime that happens in the country. I assume the point that she's trying to make is that are incarcerated at a lower rate than Americans, but Americans, not white people. And why is she so quick to point the finger? The highest rates of incarceration of crimes, Black people. But she's not ready for that conversation. And I don't know why it's so hard for her to understand that if somebody comes into the country illegally and commits a crime against an American citizen, the American citizen should be prioritized, and that crime was preventable. So we are just trying to stay safe and prevent crime from happening if it doesn't need to happen. Making it about race is so rich.
A wave of criticism. To understand how we got here, it's important to recognize Crockett's broader strategy, positioning herself as a relentless watchdog on campaign transparency and election integrity. Rumors are swirling that she may be eyeing a run for the Texas Senate. Here's where things get tricky. Without solid evidence, her allegations were quickly challenged by fact-checkers and met with strong denials. What started as a bold political move has become a contentious debate, highlighting the fine line between raising accountability questions and facing public scrutiny. Crockett often faces harsh criticism. Some say she's undereducated, while others question the accuracy of her claims. The result? A classic did she or didn't she scenario, with everyone picking sides. She refuses to back down or adjust her stance when the media offers her a chance to explain, which only intensifies the tension. It's certainly something to watch. As she remains unwavering, occasionally revisiting her past statements, the political heat keeps rising. It makes you wonder, is this a major misstep or a calculated move in a complex game of political strategy? At its core, this sparks a genuine conversation about political accountability and the ways politicians protect their credibility and public image. The broader political world is watching this high-stakes drama unfold. Detractors see her actions as risky, potentially damaging her future prospects, including that rumored Texas Senate run. Yet, others view them as bold.
If I didn't quickly put you on the spot on something, you made a little bit of news last week when you mistakenly accused Lee Zeldin, another Republican,
I didn't
mistakenly money from Jeffrey, but it was a different Jeffrey at financial records. Do you want? I don't want to give you the opportunity to amend that. And
I have no amendments. When I was on the floor, for those that don't know how it works, basically they decided to bring this privilege motion up, and they decided that they wanted to kick Stacey off of her committees because Stacey had received Stacey Plaskett because she had received a donation from Jeffrey. I had maybe 20 minutes. We researched the FEC, and because I like to speak with specificity, that's kind of what comes with being an attorney. I made clear that there was a Jeffrey knew on the other side that I did not have time to actually pull up and actually research, especially since that particular one that Lee Zeldin got up in or about was specifically out of the New York area. We know that he was out of that area. So, and this obviously was not done.
And trying to insinuate that it was the.
Oh, I absolutely was insinuating that it could be possible. That is true. But the point is, I never said that it was that specific one because I did not have the adequate time to do it. Okay,
a form of speaking truth to power. Crockett frames it as exposing what she calls big money interests she believes are harming American politics. Campaign finance controversies aren't new, but Crockett's approach adds a layer of drama and theatricality that's hard to ignore. It highlights the broader challenge of narrative control and how political stories can be used to undermine opponents or boost one's own profile. Amid all this, Crockett is reportedly considering a Senate run in Texas.
Through a similar system right now.
There was a back and forth this week after you accused former Republican Congressman, now EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin, of accepting campaign donations from Jeff. New York Post said he is threatening revenge against you. He's going to donate to your campaign, so you have to admit you accepted money from a Jeffrey. What's your response to that?
Listen, if there's anybody else who's alive and decides that they want to donate just so that you'll be on my FEC report, I am here for it. I will take your donation, especially since Jeff is now deceased. I don't think that it will be confusing whatsoever that it was not him, unless he's come back from the dead. So we'll see.
So you are, we're told, weighing a decision on whether to jump into this Texas Senate race, challenging Republican Senator John Cornyn for his seat, although it's unclear that Cornyn will survive a Republican primary. You said you had a meeting this week with pollsters to discuss your chances. Did you have that meeting? And if so, how did it go? Are you still thinking about running?
I am still thinking about running. We did get our polling back. So we are moving on to the next phase to determine whether or not this is would make sense in the moment, and if the infrastructure can be built out in the way that I see it being necessary to actually be able to win, as well as we are continuing to look at the polling.
Critics point to her recent clashes as evidence of overambition or questionable judgment, while supporters admire her willingness to take a stand. In politics, every move, like a carefully plotted chess play, is designed to make the maximum impact, and Crockett is playing her game with full force. Some critics argue that Crockett's approach is backfiring, pushing potential supporters away and raising doubts among voters. But here's the other side. Her supporters believe she's shaking things up in ways most politicians wouldn't dare, sometimes even because of the backlash.
I want to be clear. If this is the standard that we're going to make, just know we're going to expose it all. And just know that the FEC filings, they are available for everybody to review.
Well, so the reason why Jasmine Crockett would go to the floor in the first place and be lying is because she's done it a lot in the past and they get away with it. So the thought is you take the cheap shot, there's not going to be any pushback, and it's a free hit on the right to change the narrative. The problem is that you better come at us with facts and truth, or you're going to end up regretting it. In this case, they say there's no picture of the donor, Jeff. Well, that's true on FEC.gov, but what it does say for occupation is that this person was a physician. What it does say is the date of the donation, and date of donation was after that.
They see her as challenging the status quo and unafraid to spotlight injustices. Perhaps this explains why she remains a polarizing figure, capturing the attention of both allies and opponents no matter what she does. You can't ignore the strategic elements at play, especially with her possible Texas Senate ambitions. In a state shaped by shifting political dynamics and historical demographics, her bold actions might actually work in her favor. Even if her current claims risk her reputation, they could also inspire those who admire her courage and activism. As we assess her statements, it's important to recognize her persistence amid relentless criticism. Is it
other Jeffrey? Now, why would Jasmine Crockett go on CNN and what happened last night? Well, that's just about doubling down on stupid. That was a word salad that makes Kamala Harris sound like William Shakespeare. What happened on that CNN appearance was just an embarrassment in trying to clean up something where everybody knows common sense is that you're just supposed to own up to it. You made a mistake, you got called out for it. She didn't expect to get called out for it, but again, if you're coming at us, you better come at us with truth and facts, because we're going to push back.
That Congresswoman is just a liar. What she said, someone named Jeff. That's exactly what McCarthy used to do. Someone named John Smith They didn't care if it was the right person. She did disgrace the Congress and should be obviously sanctioned for accusing somebody named Jeffrey, prominent doctor in Long Island. It's a very
sheer stubbornness or a display of resilience under intense scrutiny. Understanding Crockett fully requires weighing both her political maneuvers and the accuracy of her claims. So here's the question. What do you think? Is Jasmine Crockett caught in a storm of her own making, or is she creating waves that could drive genuine political change? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Do you see her as honest and principled, or do you think she's delivering calculated political blows? Your perspective matters, and I'm eager to hear it.